The two people in front of me didn't end up in prison together, but they both got out of jail at the same time. They didn't head in the same direction either, yet they both walked into the same restaurant. It was unbelievable. And then, they both ordered the same meal. This was just too much of a coincidence. Afterward, Mark entered a second shop. To his surprise, the other person was in the same store. Mark couldn't believe such coincidences existed in the world, but strangely enough, they both ordered the same meal again. No matter what they ordered, it was the same. It was as though they had planned this in advance, without any mistakes. Even the seasoning choices were exactly the same. Both of them noticed this interesting fact, but neither reacted at all. They didn't seem the slightest bit slow-witted, and just kept ordering the same meals. Next, they both soaked in the same bathhouse, slept in the same hotel, entered the hotel at the exact same time, and left at the same time without any delay. Still, neither of them spoke a word. Then, they both walked in the same direction, but stopped at the same shop door.
ネギトロ丼、ネギ多めで。
To their delight, they ordered the same meal again. This time, however, something different happened. The other person actually ordered soybean paste and quail eggs. Mark was stunned by this combination, calling it dark cuisine. The surprising part was that the other person was very happy, even eating with great enjoyment. At that moment, Mark started to doubt himself, wondering if there was something wrong with him. He had always refused to try the taste of soybean paste, but reluctantly ordered a portion of quail eggs, ready to take a bite.
この男、信じて飛べというのか、このわしに。
He had mentally prepared himself many times before, and finally decided to try it. He put the food in his mouth, and it felt like an explosion in his mouth. Mark didn't expect that the soybean paste, which he had previously been unable to accept, would taste so good when paired with quail eggs. He couldn't stop eating, but after a while, Mark realized his bowl was empty. He had intended to thank the other person, but when he turned around, he found that the person had already finished and left. It turned out the other person's time had run out, so they were taken away by the men in black. After that day, Mark never saw that person again. He became distracted at work, thinking about how rare it was to meet someone so perfectly matched with him, in such a vast world. As Mark was still reflecting, he suddenly spotted a familiar figure. He immediately stopped in his tracks, and asked the person if they had met before.
Oh. 君の名は
班長大月死の極そこの底にいながらも一日の外出を極限にまで楽しむ次なる一日外出はいずこ
That day, the prison had another holiday. Everyone was racing against time, trying to find fun at the nightclub. When the time came, they instinctively resisted. But Mark wasn't in a rush at all. He quietly lit a cigarette, and began picking off the lint on his sweater, one piece at a time, not forgetting to remove it from his socks as well. Then he went to a restaurant, ordered a simple meal, and found an ordinary place to stay for the night. The men in black thought Mark was going down a dark path, but in fact, the next day was when Mark would make his move. He wore a sharp suit, creating the image of a successful